What's up, Internet? You're tuning to episode 168 of FlipScreen Games Podcast, a weekly video game podcast where a few best buds from different nations come together to discuss the wide world of video games. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined as always by my very good friends and co-hosts, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello, hello.
And Mr. Max Wright.
Ahoy. No, sorry. Howdy.
There you go. Howdy, my friends. Welcome back to the show. It's our first one of the year, and it is a big one. Of course, one of our favorites of every year, the predictions episode. We're going to kick things off with the results of our 2024 predictions. We'll name the latest recipient of the storied Imbessie Trophy. We'll see if someone's able to wrestle it away from me this year, or if I'll be able to keep the streak alive. And then, of course, after that, we'll get into our predictions for 2025, and we'll break down each of our 10 predictions for this year, as well as our risky picks, and we'll get into all that and much more in a minute here. But yeah, let's start with deciding last year's points. Right? We've got each of us, we had 10 of our own predictions. We have one additional risky pick, which is something we have to, think is somewhat unlikely. The other two hosts have to agree that it's at least somewhat unlikely. And then if you get that one right, it's worth 2 points. I'm pretty sure I think it's only happened once that anyone's gotten points on that one, but it's for fun mostly. So
We like fun.
Yeah, we like fun here. So I think best way to do this is we'll kind of just go through each of our predictions. Like we'll each go one at a time, and we can kind of discuss, whether or not we're assigning points for that, because it seems like there may be some disagreement on what counts and what doesn't. So we'll figure that out as we go here. As
never
team.
Disagreements. What are you on about?
Yeah, we always exactly agree how many points everyone should get. Everyone is always super happy that I win every time.
Yeah.
All right.
Always.
So we'll start with my first one. The next generation Nintendo console will launch with an MSRP of $70 for a console game. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch 2 didn't come out this year.
Yeah.
We also talked about could they reveal that price point as and then that could get me points. None of those things happened. No points for me. Steve?
My first one was Valve will release a new game, excluding re-releases. They did. Deadlock launched last year to not much fanfare. They just sort of put it out, and it is there, and it's on Steam, and you can go and download it. So that's a point for me.
It sort of slowed down a lot as well, I think.
It was really high on the charts for a long time there.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't even. I'm not going to argue this, but I don't even know if I would count that as a release. I don't want to take the point away from you.
It's not a release. I think if you can download the game and play it, it counts as them releasing a game back.
Surely they've got to acknowledge it at least. But anyway.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because it's it's early access. It wasn't officially released, but it's Steve gets a point.
Yeah,
it's out there.
I'll
you can go
give it to
download
him,
it.
yeah.
You can play it.
Look, they haven't released a game since, I guess, the one that launched, the Portal one that launched with the Steam Deck. So we've got to take everything we can get from Valve. You can't take it away from me.
Yep, we are desperate. So my first one, also a point for me. The next generation Nintendo console will be fully backwards compatible with Switch software, digital and carts within reason. That within reason is although that didn't get announced till this year.
So I was going to say, I wanted to bring this up.
We have to give it to him, because if we'd have recorded this show sooner, wouldn't have been a point. But because we've recorded after the Switch is revealed,
I actually don't think that should matter.
Otherwise, on my predictions, I'm going to say the Switch 2 is going to be revealed, and I'm going to get the point immediately.
No,
I don't think that's fair.
No, that's totally a different thing. Because here's the thing, I didn't even think about this. I assigned Max the point, but now that you bring that up, I actually don't know if he should get the point, because it was 2024 predictions, right? Because we've all predicted things that happened a year later. If we're going by that metric, Steve retroactively won 2 years ago because he had a bunch that came true 18 months later. It's it's supposed to be within that calendar year. So I think if it's...
I agree.
Anything...
I wouldn't have. Came here fully you are the one that's marked this green.
I did,
and that is. I'm happy for that not to be the case.
However, Steve... I do think there's something here, because there was that Furukawa tweet that said that you can play Switch games on the investor call, and they said, "We announced, hi, this is Furukawa. We announced today that you can play Switch software on the next generation Switch."
Here, I got it in front of me. It says, "We announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Switch Online will be available as well. Further information will be available at a later date," that kind of thing. So you said it'll be fully backwards compatible with digital and cards. So how do we assign points for this then?
I kind of feel like if we're not going to give him a full point, it's got to be at least a half point, because that tweet did clarify that
confirms
it
backwards
was
compatibility. So a half point then?
I'll take a half point.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I didn't know that tweet existed, so I wouldn't have argued it. But I'm glad that Steve's on my side. And but yeah, I'll take a half point.
I want that trophy on this side.
On this side of the pond. Yeah. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Good on you, Steve. I tried to like look things up to like confirm, but I said, I was just considering the January announcement. It's like, oh, that can't count.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Yeah. It's a shame because I was on the money, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like you were right there. You know, I think you were totally.
You know what, Max? I've had that happen to me so many times. So don't worry. It never gets the sting never gets any better.
No, it doesn't. Okay. Next one for me was Xbox will launch Game Pass for mobile games like Candy Crush and a mobile game app store. We talked about this on a previous episode to give me the half because they are launching a app store. It's just
didn't happen though. Didn't happen. It was announced back in May. They then said it was due in July, and as of today, that does not exist. It has not launched. There is no mobile app store available. It's supposed to be like a browser-based thing. Still doesn't exist.
It's true.
Didn't launch. So I don't think this is any points personally. I can see that you've got an and or at the bottom of your an or statement.
We'll
at the
get to that.
bottom
We'll get to that, Max.
But
don't worry about that.
I'm in agreement with you. I think that they didn't launch a mobile game app store. That there's no way I can go and I can buy Candy Crush and I can buy Call of Duty Mobile and I can
buy Xbox games through the Xbox app. Though.
I can, but they're not mobile games, so they aren't.
You can play some of them on mobile.
I can stream some of them on mobile, but I'm not downloading them to my phone in the same way.
There is no mobile game app store.
All right, fair enough.
There is no Game Pass for mobile games. I even was like, oh, I missed that. And I went to look for it and just could not find it.
I wasn't trying to give myself the points for the Game Pass thing. It's the mobile store. Like they said they're doing it, but to your point, they're several months behind schedule and it's screwing me over right now.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in July. September, someone said it's not out yet. December, someone else said like, oh no, it's not happening yet.
Yeah, I think this is the next
unfortunately
deal, probably. All right, Steve.
So my next one was excluding remasters or re-releases. PlayStation Studios will release no more than 3 PlayStation console exclusives in 2024. That doesn't include PC. So this was like games that would only release on PlayStation and not another console. So this one I think is a point for me. They released Helldivers 2, Concord, and Astrobot. Those are the 3 exclusives that they launched that were console exclusives. They then unreleased Concord, so I think it's really only 2. But they did release games on other platforms, MLB The Show, Lego Horizon Adventures. And you, Pete, put a note saying that they did publish Rise of Ronin and Stellar Blade, but those aren't PlayStation Studios games.
Right, they're Sony Interactive.
They're Sony Interactive, so they gave them the cash to put it on their platform. But they didn't release many games last year at all.
No. There you go.
That was a good guess, and I think it's one of those things at the start of the year we were like, surely they're going to announce more and release more, and no, they didn't really. Not exclusives anyway, but oh well.
I mean, I think it has to do with the fact that like they made unprecedented moves, right?
Yeah,
like,
if Lego Horizon was like exclusive to PlayStation, then I would have got it.
Yeah,
or even if it was on PC, right? Like it would have been like whatever, right? Like sure, there you go. But no, I think that was a really good prediction.
Mm-hmm. Also, Concord was on PC anyway, so that wouldn't have counted for you.
No.
Anyway.
If they were on PC, that was okay. Was what we said.
Oh, I
it
see.
had to be console exclusive.
Not on PC. Sorry, good point. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So my next one is that a 2020 PS Studios game will be re-released on PC, excluding games announced as of the 8th of Jan 2024. And lo and behold, in April or whatever it was, they announced Ghost of Tsushima for PC, and that came out in May, I think. And there it is. There it is. And little did I know that another 2020 game would be announced to release this year as well. So technically, 2 points.
That's not how that works. But good on you. All right, next up, there will be one video game acquisition deal announced that will break the top 10 of all time in terms of like cost. And so we figured out that amount was $2 billion or more. And lo and behold, Keyword Studios, reached a $2.2 billion acquisition agreement with the Swedish investment company EQT. So
it's insane to me that you can sell your company for $2 billion and no one's fucking heard of you. Like, come on. Do any of us know who Keyword Studios are?
Nope. They have a lot. They have a lot of teams, though. They have 70 teams in 26 countries. They're pretty big. But yeah, I have no idea who they are.
Throw a slight spanner in the works here.
Oh, I'd love you to.
If I go on Wikipedia and I look at the merger and acquisition with deal value of at least $1 billion, and I sort that by deal value, this deal is 12th because this is apparently $2.39 billion. EA bought Glue Mobile in 2021 for 2.4. Mojang were bought by Microsoft in 2014 for 2.5, and then you've got Bungie at 3.7 after that, and then that's the top. That completes the top 10. Yeah, if you sort by deal value, for some reason that does appear number 10. But when I actually looked at the list, for some reason there are two beneath it that are worth more. I'd like to know why this is the case. I'd like to know how this has happened. I'm also getting an error with the inflation thing here as well. But I'm seeing deal value. That's $2.39 billion, but Mojang and Electronic Arts are both worth more in deal value and in inflation. Where are you sitting on this?
I don't think it breaks it. If we're doing it based on the criteria that's in here, that if we're saying it's based on $2 billion or more, then yes, it does break it. But that figure must be incorrect because the figure would be 2.5 billion. Or 2.4241 billion would be.
Because I don't know why these Glue Mobile and Mojang ones are, they're not in the right place on the list.
All right, take my point and move on then. Whatever.
Okay,
cheaters.
Fine. I'm not cheating. I'm just looking at. I double checked the information.
I'm not
giving
Steve points on the next one then, because they didn't formally say that they're moving away from live service games. So just because they have proof of it, then you don't get points.
I agree. For example, reflected in investor relations.
Yeah, well, in mine it says in example $2 billion or more, and I found an acquisition that was $2 billion or more. So either you give me half points or you get no points. That's where we're at.
Yeah, but I feel like that's because that was wrong. Wherever you got the information of the $2 billion or more, we
all agreed to that at the same time. So we were all wrong.
I trusted that you had the correct information.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like you were on that show too, Max. You could have fact checked, and here I am winning, and now you're trying to cheat. That's just is what it is.
There's no cheating going on. I just want it to be correct. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should have fact checked at the time. However, I'm now fact checking, and it hasn't broken the top 10. It says IE, but the first part of it's the most important part.
All right. So then, what are we doing with Steve's points here?
I also don't necessarily know that I agree that happened. They haven't officially cancelled the games, I don't think. Have we actually had formal announcement from Sony?
They've cancelled several of these games, but they haven't formally said it in any investor presentations or anything.
Firing Jim Ryan was a pretty formal way of getting away from
firing Jim Ryan and then cancelling all the games.
It's a pretty formal pivot, I would say.
They did get rid of Concord.
They shut down studios. They got rid of Concord. They have spoken in investor relations.
Nah, you can have the point. It's fine. Let's go. All right, next up, Max.
Right, my number 3 is that a Xenoblade Chronicles X re-release will be announced, and this happened on a random Tuesday or whatever. A trailer came out, and I was very happy. And I think Steve's the one that reminded me that I actually made this prediction on an episode of Nintendo Noise.
You were very happy about that.
I was very happy about that.
Yeah,
it appeared in the best of 2024 mix that your dad put together for you can find on youtube.com/FlipScreen Games.
There you go.
A great 55 minutes of programming, if I do say so myself.
Good job, Max.
All right, the next
didn't do
for
it.
me was the Steam Deck will launch in Australia in 2024. This happened. So I'll get
Good.
a point.
Yeah, good
Thank
shout.
God. Thank God. So my next one is the rumored refreshed Xbox console is real, but will feature a way to play physical discs. This did not happen. This is a no point for me. This was the Pete did mark it as a half point. However, my intention behind this was the leaked Brooklyn controller and console that
Right.
was like the
okay.
circular cylindrical one. That obviously did not happen, did not come out. That got cancelled.
I was
so.
thinking of the half gen.
I was thinking
refresh,
of-
I guess.
I was thinking, what didn't they do something at E3 where they did not E3? What was supposed to be E3 when they did like a here's the new? Didn't they?
They
They did announce something.
Yeah,
They
that's,
did.
it's the white
Yeah.
2 terabyte.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we not? We're not counting that, no.
That wasn't.
Oh,
what he was talking
wasn't like the rumored refreshed console was specifically Brooklyn.
The rumored
With the-
refresh console was like do you remember the FCC leak? And it was like the adorably all digital.
Yes,
thing that
yes, I remember
came
this
out.
now.
That did not obviously happen.
Yes, okay, cool. Right, I remember that now. Brilliant. My next one is that there will be a new game remaster or remake of a Pokemon RPG that visits a classic region released in 2024. If I'd have said announced, I would have got that point. But I said released. So I think we'll see it this year because it was announced February last year. So I'm sure we'll see it again February this year. But I'm not going to try and argue that deserves its points.
I think it'll come out on Switch too and still look terrible.
I think it will 100% come out on Switch 2 and still look terrible. So.
Okay. So then my next one is at least one major games as a service will hold a nostalgic event to revive the player base, i.e. Fortnite OG, WoW Classic. PUBG did this. They re-released the original Aaron Angel match.
Erangel.
Whatever, from 2017. And actually I think a couple other games did this too, but this was the first one that got a bunch of attention.
Yep. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, cool, nostalgia!" And I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what Pete said." If you can be nostalgic for 2017, but you know,
I mean, it's almost 10 years ago now, so you can.
Christ.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
My next one was a new play date will be announced with a backlit screen. Didn't happen. They're still pushing the same old play date with no backlit screen, which is sad. Hopefully, this will come true this year. Because
Are they still selling the play date?
They're still selling the play date. You can still subscribe to the seasons. They're still putting new games out.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's good.
Still, like,
Okay.
I think there was some new accessories that they announced, like a speaker and stuff. But like, there's no new play date.
I didn't see the value in mine. I ended up flogging it to get my Steam Deck, and that was probably the best decision I've
That
ever
is
made.
actually a really good,
Yeah.
like, sell.
What a trade.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Steam Deck, my next one was I said that there will be a new piece of hardware announced by Valve, excluding limited edition colorways. And what did we get? Only a limited edition colorway of the white Steam Deck, which is very nice, but did do nothing for me points wise.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, I remember that one. It's like, ooh, so close, buddy.
Yeah.
I loved the color though. Like it was.
Oh, yeah,
like,
so
pink
nice.
and white.
I saw a picture of it the other day and had forgotten that it existed, and I was like, oh, that's lovely.
All right, my next one was Nintendo will release a new 3D Mario game. I thought the Switch 2 was going to come out this year. Didn't. Probably next year.
This year?
This year or next year? You
This
reckon it's going to be 2025,
No, probably
2026?
Well, that'd be a
2025. Well, I mean,
spoilers for the next predictions.
could be either way. I guess we'll see. Yeah.
I put the Hollow Knight Silk song will finally be released.
I
Sadly,
really
this
thought,
did not happen. I feel like this is just a ginormous April Fool's joke at this point.
How
that
many
this
years
game-
does this not come out before we're allowed to make it a risky pick?
I'm not even consider. Yeah, I've not. Maybe this is my risky pick this year. Maybe I get to go first. My next one is that Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC won't release until at least April 2024, but will release in 2024, and it came out in June, which is much better than when I said it would have released by June 2023, and that never, I was only a year out.
You
so
were a
whatever.
whole year out,
Just
yeah.
a whole year out. Okay, my next one was PlayStation will not announce a PlayStation VR 2 game from a first-party studio. They haven't.
Abandonware. It's absolutely abandonware, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that was another Jim Ryan pet project. He's out the door, and so's the VR2, which is a shame.
Yeah.
My
I mean,
next.
They seemed like they were real bullish on it until it was time to do a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. My next one was the PS Portal will be updated to include cloud streaming. This happened in December, and I was so happy when they announced this. I was like, fucking finally. I didn't think I was going to get this point, but it just seems to make so much sense to me. Like, why do you need to have good internet at your house when I can just connect to a network and stream from the cloud wherever I am? Then I don't need good internet on both sides.
Seems like it works really well as well. Some friends of mine who have it are very happy with it. So, yeah.
That's good.
Nice to see the PS Portal getting some sort of use. My next one, I said that we will see a new unreleased Metroid game in 2024, but not the remaster of Prime 2 or 3, as they are heavily rumored. And those two heavily rumored games never happened. But Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was finally announced formally with a new trailer, so that happened. I'm very excited.
I was going to say, did we see it? Did we see the gameplay? Did we actually see it moving?
Of course we did.
I mean, we can take this point away from him. What does C mean?
What is that?
What does that mean?
I heard about it. I saw a logo. Did we see the game?
They showed more footage of a game that they announced in 2017. So
a new unreleased Metro game. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can have it.
Still unreleased, it still counts.
Of course, you're fine.
Maybe if the game came out, you could argue it, but whatever.
That would be hilarious if we're like, no, it released. We didn't see it. That doesn't count. Okay, mine was we'll see at least 2 new licensed games from popular IP, such as Star Wars or Marvel, announced from well-known studios. And yeah, I mean, that happened. We had...
Marvel Rivals was the second one, I remember. What was the first one?
I forget what the one before that was. We had... Oh, what was the other example?
Because the question was who I've got here from.
We did this. We did this on a previous episode, and we're like, yeah, like this is 2, and I think we even had a third one that came to mind or whatever.
Yeah,
but I just can't remember.
Like, is NetEase a big publisher? We argued about that for a while, but there was a game beforehand that was announced.
Yeah, but I can't remember.
I can't think, but we green, and we put it green before today. I'm pretty sure. So
we did it on. We reviewed it on a previous one because I forget. There might have been another Star Wars or something that was announced that we're not.
There's always a Star Wars, isn't there? There's always a Star Wars. There's always a bloody Marvel.
Steve?
Yes. My next one was that an Xbox console exclusive will be considered for Game of the Year for the first time at the Game Awards. And this didn't happen.
So close, though. Like, if Indiana Jones had just come out a little earlier, this would have been the year. And it's like, oh, man. Like,
that game's great.
It was really fun.
It was great.
It was really
fun. And I don't think it's ever going to happen now because I have a feeling that we're never going to see Xbox console exclusives anymore. That's the end of it.
Probably not. Yeah, Xbox published game obviously.
Could change that too. Yeah.
But yeah, console exclusive probably now.
Yeah. My next one, and I think I might let this one ride. Capcom's Pragmata will not be released in 2024. What I should have said is they won't even mention Pragmata in 2024, and that is the case. That game just seemingly doesn't exist anymore.
Well, there you go. All right. So then my next one was at least one major games as a service will follow Fortnite and release a new game within their existing game. Like the examples I gave were like they had put out Lego Fortnite fairly recently, and there was like Festival and Rocket Racing. So here's my thing. They put out a new game called Fortnite Ballistic in that, which is like a new mode within that kind of family of
I think because you worded it as will follow Fortnite, I think it's got to be something other than Fortnite.
I feel like I should get a half point, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably like another game that did this.
I looked so hard. I could not find another one that was not an expansion.
I'm sure there's probably
other, like, big expansions that really like changed a game. Right, that were announced, or released, but like not like this, which is like it's essentially another game within a game, right? Like it's like Fortnite, but it's an FPS.
Yeah, I'm gonna allow the half point on this one because while it's not another game, it is a major games as a service releasing a new game inside Fortnite. So have your half point. Enjoy it. Treat yourself.
I'll take that half point. Thank you.
So my next one was a successor to the Steam controller will be revealed, but not be made by Valve. I think we considered the
Hori one.
the Hori one, because it integrates deeply within Steam. It has like the joysticks and stuff, and it also kind of brought on the made for Steam scheme that they rolled out in December that we're now seeing even more and more of. So I think that's kind of the approach that they're going down.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little generous to call it a successor to the Steam controller, but I think it satisfies the spirit of the prediction for sure.
Yeah, I think you got it there. We've already celebrated it before on the Steam Deck podcast, so I'm happy to celebrate it again now. My next one, which for a split second, good like 30 seconds, I thought that I'd cracked this, is that a Zelda remake or remaster will be released. I really thought it was going to be a Link to the Past remaster that we saw, but actually it was Echoes of Wisdom, which I'm glad wasn't a Link to the Past remaster because it was a fun new thing. So
I think this is going to happen this year, though. This is definitely going to happen this year, 100%.
Probably.
Let's wait till we get to the predictions, mate, because I'm happy to bet against myself here.
All right. So then our last thing was our risky picks, and I'll just spoiler alert: none of us got them. But
hang on a minute. Well, I don't know. I reckon I've got a half point here because of the.
You know what? I do, and I also think Pete potentially has the point.
You think we all get half points on this one? Okay. Well, we'll talk about it then. I said this will be the first year that players can confidently say that Xbox's release calendar was better than PlayStation. Steve, you said.
I said Bungie will no longer be owned by PlayStation at the end of 2024.
Okay, and Max said
the next generation Nintendo console will not release. Full stop. The next generation Nintendo console will not release alongside new Nintendo IP, e.g., 1-2 Switch, Wii Sports, etc.
I'm pretty sure, Max, when we did the risky pick last year, you said something like, "Oh yeah, but if it doesn't release, I won't get any points. It's got to not release alongside a new IP.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wasn't a risky enough pick because it was like
then it's just like a regular prediction of like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. So the issue I have with Pete getting a point here is that Astrobot got the Game of the Year and Helldivers was one of the biggest success stories of the entire year.
You're probably right. Those two are way better than anything. Like the only thing that Xbox really had was Indiana Jones.
Yeah, which was great. But again, it's like it was great. It was one great game. PlayStation had at least two great games.
Yeah.
The only
Concord obviously, would have screwed them if Astrobot didn't come out, but
yeah, true. And I think that's the only thing that you can like potentially argue in Xbox's favor is like, well, they didn't have a big black eye like Concord, but it's like, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like, does that?
They're already the most bruised, battered company in the whole industry, anyway. So it doesn't matter. One black eye.
I think the fact that I was like, you can confidently say it was better. It's like, it's too close. It's too debatable, Yeah. Like you said, Astrobot won Game of the Year. Like, come on. Yeah.
Also, gamers with confidence. Come on, Pete. Word your stuff better, mate. Come on.
All right, so let's do our final tally here. Everybody count up your points.
Half. Sorry, in my head, yeah.
Yeah, so I got 4.5. Steve got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my God!
Look at you, baby.
This is, you know what? I'm celebrating. This is the first year in 8 years that I swear we've been doing it. Maybe like 7 years that we've been doing this. That I've beat Pete.
Yeah,
I genuinely can't believe it.
That deserves a round of applause in itself.
And let's crown our actual winner, Max. Even the year where you beat me, you still didn't win. It's so
5.5.
Good job, Max.
I think this was a lot of luck. I actually started preparing a speech earlier. But yeah, I don't know where it is now.
Right, take the points off him.
No, this goes out to the game.
Victory speech.
This goes out to the audience. This goes out to the. No, we've got a whole other set of predictions to do. So I'm not going to get too in the weeds with it.
You got to talk a little bit of shit. Hold on, I'm going to go grab the trophy. Go
ahead. Yeah. All right, fine. They said it couldn't be done. Sorry, he said it couldn't be done, and that man is Pete and Bessie. He's not here to hear me, so it's bullying until he puts those headphones on. Now it's just gentle jibbing and jabbing because this man said it couldn't be done. He said he couldn't be beat. He said I wasn't a contender. He said that nobody could have that. He made the trophy in his own name because he was adamant it wouldn't happen. When it comes here, when it arrives on this doorstep, hopefully with 2 band t-shirts I've been waiting 4 years for, I'm going to scratch out the word in Bessie. I'm going to put right on there, and I'm going to...
You can't scratch it out. You can't deface the trophy.
Watch me. Watch me.
You'll be disqualified.
Bit of masking tape.
Bit of masking tape.
That
there we go.
Masking tape's fine. That's
okay.
legitimate. But if you deface the trophy, you're disqualified. It's just you can't.
My girlfriend has moved every year for the last 9 years. She's the expert at doing stuff you can undo before you move out. So we'll do that with this. I'd like to thank the fans, the listeners, and the academy for this. Thank you, everyone. To next year.
Till next year.
Good job, Max. I'm
Convenient,
proud of
starting
you.
in just a few moments. So I just want to say, in my concession speech here, Max, Steve, thanks for finally showing up. You've inspired me to try even harder this year because I have 25 predictions ready to go. I am ready to clean up again and reclaim the title in 2025 because you know what? We're getting a couple new names on this trophy after today. So I'm gonna have to win back the honor for the America. It's got to come back to the States.
Yeah. Is your trophy guy even going to do it? Is he going to be?
Oh, he's
okay
waiting. He's waiting. I'm sending him a photo right after this, and he's going to update it right before it comes across the pond. My trophy guy's on top.
This is so exciting.
It's great actually because I never updated the winner for last year, so we just get one.
So we can put my name on there.
We'll bang him out right away. Oh no, Steve, you gotta try again, bud.
Okay.
Better luck next year. You'll see the 10-year anniversary. That's your year. All right. So we're going to get into our 2025 predictions in just a second here. But before we do that, let me remind you that this episode of the FlipScreen Games podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of January. They are, of course, Arnold J. Rimmer, Christopher Valens, Gabriel Asobi Hasselmeyer, Project Julian, Steve Stompy, Susan Still Likes Cats and also movies, Voodoo Vic, Ty the Dude, and Waka Hula. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/FlipScreenGames. Y'all the realest of the real, and we greatly appreciate your support of this and all of our sister shows. If you want to go show your support on Patreon, if you want to go check out the sister shows, the Nintendo Noise podcast or the Steam Deck podcast, or if you just want to join the community and keep the conversation rolling between episodes, you can do all that and much more by heading over to flipscreen.games. Head over there, click on some stuff. It helps us out a lot more than it costs you. Let's get into it. So, quick recap of the rules. 10 predictions each worth 1 point. One risky pick worth 2 points. We get full or half points if it's a 2-part prediction. Solid picks only. Nothing that can be left open to interpretation or subjectivity. We have to define all of the minutia so that we don't have a lot of room to argue when it comes to lock in those points at the end of next year.
It's time to settle in, guys. This is going to be another argument waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah. Last couple rules, it can't be anything that is like extremely obvious, right? Like now that the Nintendo Switch 2 has been announced, we can't be like, it'll come out this year. That's obviously going to happen. So that's not much of a prediction, is it? Something that's already happened, obviously, or anything that we have prior knowledge about. So any kind of insider information, anything like that is something that cannot influence our decisions. And then if we come to a point where we can't agree, an impartial judge will be brought in to decide the winner if needed. But we've successfully named a winner the last 8 years, so I think we'll be okay.
Yes, we should be.
So now we just got to decide who's going first.
I think it should be Pete. So
Yeah.
I think it should go in loser and then on the way up to the winner.
So we'll just do the same order that we did this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Loser,
Okay.
Steve, then Max. Good idea. I like that.
Loser, Steve, then Max. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Listen. I'm not gonna argue, you guys. It only took 10 years for you to finally get a W against me. So
I've only competed twice.
take
Just
it a little bit
FYI.
to- Yeah, and you know what? Not competing is worse than losing. So think about that.
I've never been invited. Whatever. Let's not start this on a bad foot.
Okay. All right. I'm going to run back my first prediction from last year, which is the next generation Nintendo console will launch with an MSRP of $70 for a console game. So, and again, I'm not saying that every game will retail at that much, but like the standard AAA marquee titles like we saw with Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like those games are going to cost $70. Is that specific enough, or?
I kind of feel like it's obvious, isn't it? Like,
You think?
they've already released a $70 game, and it was Tears of the Kingdom. So they've
Was
kind
that
of already
$70?
set that precedent.
was.
Yeah.
It could happen.
They said
That
it
could have
wasn't
also been
precedent-setting,
a.
though, right? They made a point to say like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we
we're
think
gonna do
this
Yeah,
it.
game is
that's why it came
more
up last year, right?
Yeah.
Let's not rehash this whole thing, but I think I agree with this being a prediction and not a obvious thing. So,
Okay,
thumbs
okay.
up from
Then
me.
it's allowed.
then I'll keep it. Beautiful. All right, go ahead.
Copied it with the red already on it. That's
I
good.
did.
That's nice.
That's bad luck.
Okay, we'll stick with the Nintendo theme for mine then. I'm going to say the next Mario Kart will be called Mario Kart X.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I hope that's real.
All right. If we're doing Nintendo, I'm going to flip reverse what I put last year and say that no new Zelda game or remake will release in 2025. Upscaled Switch 2 ports not included.
Oh, you're mental. You are
So
actually
I'm
mental.
saying no new remakes, no new Zelda games, but
Bold. I love it.
if they do a Wii U Switch 2 port or a Switch upscaled port, whatever that is.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I'm saying no new Zelda game or no new Zelda remake will release in 2025.
If it's just like Wind Waker coming
That's
over,
so confusing. Hold on. We need to nail this down. So you're saying
Okay.
no? Okay. What kind of Zelda game could be released that would not mess up this prediction? Because
if they do a new version of like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom or any of the Zelda games that currently exist on Switch, and it's just like a Switch 2 upscaled thing, or either of the two Wii U games, I'm saying no new Zelda game.
Okay, why don't we
and
just say
no new remake that doesn't already exist?
Why don't we say no new Zelda release? Because what you're describing wouldn't be a release, right? It would be like you're talking about like smart delivery kind of thing. Right?
No, because I'm also saying that the Wii U games don't count.
Yeah, he's saying like if they ported the Wind Waker over to Switch, that wouldn't count. It's got to be something fresh. So if they do like a Link to the Past remake this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if it's a Minish Cap remake
so
or something like that.
No new Zelda release.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
If it's got HD or deluxe in the title, it doesn't fucking matter. You know.
Unless it's a new game that hasn't been before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. A little confusing, but I'm with you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. The first couple are the ones I hate the most because it's so hard to pick from a big list.
And you've got to get it in before someone else gets it as well.
Like one of the ones that I think someone else might take, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the ones that I necessarily think are most likely to happen because it's like I have some here that I don't think you guys will do, right? Okay. Okay, this one's okay. I'm gonna go for this one. Xbox will not release one console exclusive game in 2025.
Okay.
Sorry, say that one more time.
Xbox will not release one console exclusive game in 2025.
Does that include timed exclusivity?
I did put an explanation for that, and if you guys disagree that it's too broad, then I'll pick something else. But I said, meaning all games will release multi-platform or will have a multi-platform release announced. And that was with the intent of covering me in the event of something like Indiana Jones, where like it was absolutely announced as a multi-platform game. We know it's multi-platform, but the PlayStation release is coming out the following year. So it's like, just want to kind of cover myself in that regard.
Okay. Yeah, as long as we're not counting PC, you're saying console exclusive. You said console exclusive, so yeah, fine. Yeah,
so it's
okay,
like,
I'm okay with that.
It would any big game that they would release would also come to either PlayStation or Nintendo.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
okay.
I have a prediction that's similar to this, but not quite the same. I might do it later. Not decided.
I think it's an interesting one. Like I might be too early on it. Like this might be a thing that they're not fully committed to yet, but I kind of think this is the year where Xbox exclusivity goes the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean they've already started announcing like the Outer Worlds 2 for PlayStation and things like that. So I think you're right. I think it's
if Indiana Jones wasn't going to be console exclusive, it's like
yeah. Okay. I am going to go with PlayStation will broadcast a showcase for the first time since 2023 and reset to mostly single player experiences.
God, I hope that's true. I love that. I love that prediction. I hope that prediction is true.
Yeah, I'm with you on there.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm going to say that Monster Hunter Wilds will have a record-breaking launch for the series, and Capcom will announce that. So whether that's through like an investors call or like
A tweet.
A tweet or something like that, I think the Monster Hunter Wilds will have a record-breaking launch for the series of like, this has been the best opening weekend
Best
or the
launch,
best opening,
most concurrent players, like something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Where's the cutoff for that? Is my question. So like, do they have to say like launch specifically in that statement? Like this was the best launch for a Monster Hunter title, quickest selling, something like that?
I think it's fair that we wait for the first investor thing that Capcom does after that game comes out.
I don't mean like that. I don't mean they have to say it within like necessarily a certain amount of days. It's more like, I'm trying to think of an example of this. Like if they were to come out and be like, because you said record-breaking launch, which to me is launch-specific.
Then I'm saying it will be like a record-breaking release. Then let's say they're going to say
yeah.
this is the biggest Monster Hunter release. We've had the most players, something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
Cool,
so, record-breaking release like for the franchise.
Yes, yeah. For Monster Hunter, yeah.
Cool.
Of all the Monster Hunter games, that will have the best. I don't know, week.
I would even
that.
Like extend it out to probably include if they were like, oh, it was like the best opening for a Capcom game, right? If it was like our most concurrence on Steam or something like that. Like I think
I think
feels like that satisfies that.
Yeah.
If they say something like record breaking release or something similar,
so if they don't say it, actually no, yeah, let's stick with that, because Steam, while the Steam numbers are fair to go, and they also don't include PlayStation and Xbox and stuff, so it has to be all encompassing. They say it, yeah, I agree.
And we saw that where like we see that all the time with games, right? Like Elden Ring did that within like the first week. It was like, oh, this is the fastest selling Souls game ever.
Yeah, yeah, you see it all the time. I was just asking so that we were nailing down what it is.
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. Oof. Man, I got too many good ones, Too many good ones.
Pick a bad one then.
No, I picked too many bad ones last year, apparently. Okay. I have two Nintendo ones that I really like, and they're both kind of similar, and I don't want to do both, but I'm having trouble deciding which one I think is more likely.
Assign heads or tails to one or the other, and I'll flip a coin. How's that? Let's leave it up to chance.
Okay, let's try it. Tails.
No, I say you just assign.
Oh, I have to. Oh, okay.
In your head,
okay,
one
okay,
is
I got
heads,
it.
brother's tails.
Say one is heads, two is tails.
It's heads. No, it's tails. Sorry, it's tails.
It's tails.
Let's do that because it's too bright.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that information right now and use a different one because I guess I gotta think a little bit more. Okay. This is one.
Head or tails works.
This is one you guys might need to push me back a little bit if we need to define it more clearly. But I don't think it's too broad. Is that Ubisoft will look different after 2025, which I think that the company will be restructured, and I think that there are like a few ways that could go in terms of like they could be sold off, they could be privatized, or they could be dismantled for parts. I think all of those things
Ubisoft will be restructured.
But I'm like definitively, I believe that this will be the year that like push comes to shove for them to, whether that's the Guillemot family gets ousted and like Tencent or somebody comes in and buys them out, or if they take it private so they don't have to worry about being a publicly traded company anymore and they can kind of like go smaller and try to restructure like internally, or they have like a THQ situation where like some of their assets get bundled and sold off, and maybe Ubisoft as a company survives, but they sell off a bunch of their IP in an effort to kind of right the ship.
Okay, I was going to say you could wrap that nicely in like there'll be a change of ownership, but then if you're also saying they're going to start shipping off IP, I don't know if that necessarily
That's the thing
counts
is like
that.
if they go the private option, I do think the Guillemot family will stay in charge, and I think that's the thing is like I do think right now any of those could happen. My prediction though is that like one of them will like this is it. This is the year where Ubisoft as we know it changes, and that's the prediction. But if you feel like that's too all encompassing, I'm open to that. I don't necessarily feel that way because it is kind of binary, right? It's like it's either something's going to happen to Ubisoft or something's not going to happen to Ubisoft. And I don't think it's a absolute.
Yeah, but like I think something's going to happen. I think you've clarified it here because I think you could say Ubisoft's going to look different if they went bankrupt and disappeared, but something's not really happened then.
Right.
Like they didn't sell, privatize, or get dismantled for parts. They just disappeared because they ran their company into the ground.
If they don't exist anymore, I would say maybe put in the brackets here, but they will still exist. Because if they get shut down, I don't think this counts.
Well, I think it does if they get bought, if they get bought for parts. Like if they're just
That's
like,
true.
you know what,
Ubisoft, I think, let's say this: if the brand still exists after that, then it counts. So like if they sell, like say they bundle off Assassin's Creed and they sell Assassin's Creed as a way to like recoup money and whatever, but Ubisoft as a company still exists after that, then I think that my prediction has proven true because Ubisoft changed. But if, to your point, Max, if Ubisoft gets totally liquidated and goes away and there's no entity named Ubisoft anymore and all their IP have just been sold off to whomever, then I think that's when I don't get my point.
I'm going to 180 on this because I disagree with that now, and I actually think that if that happened, then that's the most drastic thing that could happen, and therefore you still deserve your point.
Okay,
I'd say,
it sounds like we're good. It sounds like we all agree that this is a reasonable prediction because it's just as likely that nothing happens and they continue to eat shit for another year.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Steve, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to say a new Half-Life will be announced.
Ah, that was one of mine!
Interesting.
That was one of the ones I was holding on to. I was like, nobody's going to say that.
It's one of those things that I'm like, even though it was mentioned that it could be happening, I'm like, nah. So I'm happy for you to waste a spot on that.
My thought is here, Max, that the Decade's on the way.
Yeah.
And what better game to bring with the Decade than Half-Life Alyx 2?
Originally, my prediction was that I had two versions of it. I have one that was just a new Half-Life will be revealed, but then I had one that was it'll come out alongside. It'll be like a launch title for the new VR system.
Mm-hmm. All right, my next one. I'm going to get this in now, I think. I'm going to say that this is going to be another year of waiting for SteamOS to be made officially available, and that SteamOS will not have a full release in 2025, like a general release of you can download the thing, put it on any machine ever.
Okay. Does that include
public
beta?
release?
Are you saying stable?
No, I'm saying full stable public release will not happen in 2025.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a given, but that's fine.
Do you think it's
if you
think
that's too broad, then I'll say if it like an open beta. Okay, let's say release to the public. Let's say. But then again, a beta is a public thing, isn't it?
I mean, if it's an open beta, if it's invite only, then no.
No, they've already announced an open beta. So they said in their blog post on the episode of Steam Deck podcast we spoke about last week that you're going to be able to download it ahead of the Legion Go S launch.
They did say that, yeah.
So that is a beta. So that's why I was clarifying. Are you saying a stable release?
I'm going to say stable release. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see stable release in 2025.
Well, you think that's too much of a given, Steve? Or...
If that's too much of a given, then
I kind of feel like it is because if they're not releasing the beta until May, they work at the most glacial pace.
Good point. All right, yeah, I think that's fair. Why don't you pick another one, Max?
Fine. I'm gonna say that Assassin's Creed Shadows will fail to meet Ubisoft expectations, and that in some sort of announcement to the public or to investors, they're going to sort of mention that the game failed to meet expectations. I
think that's a good one.
Yeah. I think they probably, I don't want to get too confusing, but I also think they're going to do something like, we're going to right the ship, we're going to do this, we're going to, they've already had to try and pivot that. And I think that even after all that, the game's going to come out and they're going to go, yeah, that still didn't hit for us.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Are you happy with what I've written there, Max?
Yes. Because otherwise there's no, if they don't say it, we're just assuming at that point. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, they publicly said that like Star Wars Outlaws didn't meet expectations, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's totally a precedent for them saying that.
Yeah.
So
They say it all the fucking time, mate. I'm pretty sure every time you hear anything about Ubisoft,
they're
it's
like,
like,
the last
yeah,
like
that
6
game.
games they put out, yes, failed to meet our expectations. Like maybe your expectations are the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do my Nintendo Switch when I had enough time to think about it. I am gonna honor the coin. Nintendo Switch 2 will become the fastest selling console of all time.
Damn. Yeah, go for it.
My line of thinking there is currently that I believe that's the PlayStation 5 took that crown.
I think it depends what Switch. I think is if you plan it out, it's the Switch. But if you cut it down to like a specific part of the PS5, it is the PS5. I don't know where it sits.
Yeah, and my thought there is that like we know that they have a ton of units, right? Like the word on the street is they're sitting somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20 million units that they're looking to sell. If this thing comes out and has the momentum that I think we expect from a new Nintendo console, if there are killer apps, right? Like if it has a good launch and it sells the way that I think you expect it to, there's a very good likelihood they sell all of those units. And then by that metric, they will have had the fastest selling console of all time.
Can I clarify something?
Sure.
I think the data has to come from an official Nintendo briefing, like an investor's briefing, not from like VG charts or something that uses like data where it's like, oh, we estimate this many sales. It has to be Nintendo says, hey, because they always do every quarter, they say we sold X amount of units. And if that then does that, if that number of units,
that should be observable. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
because we know, right, like how many PlayStation 5 sold to hit that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that should be observable.
Yeah, cool. Can I also clarify you mean worldwide?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Because there was a recent thing where people thought that the Switch had overtaken the PS2, but that was just in the US. So people do get confused with this stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So the final prediction is Nintendo Switch 2 will become the fastest selling console of all time worldwide, according to Nintendo.
According to Nintendo's sales figures, I'll say, because they might not actually say it, but
why don't you just say according to official sales figures?
Yeah, that's better. Because Nintendo might never say it, but VGC might say, hey, here's some data based on what Nintendo's just said, and that still counts. So
I think if it's a third party that's making a comparison based on observable data, though, that's obviously
if it's NPD or Circana, then I would respect that data personally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I don't know what to do next.
It gets tough.
Okay. Microsoft will announce a Windows handheld mode or Xbox OS for handhelds.
I like that.
Yeah.
I want it to happen. I like it.
I feel like they're going to get pressured from their partners like Asus. There's SteamOS around the corner. I think they've got to do something. Like people have said that Windows is the bottleneck, Windows is the problem, but people still want it because they want to be able to play Destiny or whatever else on the go.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay,
it makes sense. Might be too early, but
yeah, that's always my risk with my picks.
This was one of mine too. Is that they would officially reveal a new handheld, like a handheld SKU. But yeah, I think it's totally dependent on like the when, not if, some version of this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Max.
sorry, I'm just deciding. I'm going to say this is a weird one. I'm going to say the Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition will have a Metacritic score at least 4 points higher than its Wii U original. It's got 84, so I think it's going to be an 88 or higher.
Okay, sure.
And I don't know when you want to count that as because obviously all the results have to come in. So I'm going to say
it'll be next January.
Yeah, we check in January.
Yeah,
good, okay. Because I don't want to like green it in
like
March
when
and
it
then
hits that and then it settles somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm nothing if not honest, and a winner. So
and humble, the most humble.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Man. There's just like so many that I want to get on this list. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm struggling to pick one. Okay, I'll go with this one, I guess. Grand Theft Auto 6 will not release in 2025.
Oh,
Yeah, this one was one of mine.
Yeah,
You know what?
there was like a rumor that it was going to be delayed, and then they officially were like, it absolutely is not going to be delayed. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I'm pretty sure it's going to get delayed. So
I'm going to do devil's advocate then. I'm going to do the opposite and say
will?
GTA 6 will launch for at least $80. I think they're going to be trying to push the goalpost even more, and I think GTA 6 is one of those games that what people will pay for.
That's interesting. It could be. I mean, especially when you think about like if whatever the new GTA Online is like part of that experience, it's like it's not unreasonable ask, right? If you paid full price for that game when it came out, you're still playing it, right? Like
I was about to make a bold claim to keep in with the GTA 6 theme, but I think I'm going to save it for my risky pick.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to say I'm going to say that Metroid Prime 4 will not be a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. It will not be available at the launch day of the Switch 2.
Cool.
It might release before, it might release after, but it will not be a launch day title.
Interesting. Okay. Oof.
How many's that left? 4.
So it depends. We did
2, 3.
9 in a risky pick last year. We could do 5 in a risky pick this year, which I think is what you said we were going to do, Pete.
No. No, I said 10 in a risky pick. So I mean,
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's 10 in a risky pick. We did 9 in a risky pick last year.
Okay, I think let's go for 10. I got 25.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
it.
let's do 10. That's fine.
What's one more, right? Like, why not? Okay. Huh. Okay. All right, this one's like a little bit like inside baseball, but I think it's a good one. Multi-game subscriptions growth will stall. So what I mean by that, like services like Xbox Game Pass will not achieve new records or like see like new record player counts or revenue or any of those kinds of things, because I believe that as a model is going to kind of plateau a little bit this year.
I will only be okay with this if you can provide me with a source from this year that did happen. If you can find a thing that this year that record things happened,
yeah.
If there was growth this year, then I'm okay with that. If there wasn't growth this year, then that's really just continuing the a downward trend, and I don't know if I would say that is a worthy pick. Sorry to be pedantic.
No. I think that's a worthwhile thing. I'm trying to find, because they did make they made a statement about that with when Call of Duty came out. But I don't remember what the specific number was. All right, maybe I'll look for this and see if I can find the answer I need to do this. And in the meantime, I'll pick a different one. Because I remember them saying something about that, like, because there was like a claim not that long ago that they had like lost money on the Activision acquisition, and then they like showed how that wasn't true. So like they just put a bunch of this information out, but I'm not seeing it come up, and I don't want to take too much more of our time here. So, okay, here's one. PlayStation will cancel another games as a service title.
Okay.
Yeah,
that doesn't count the ones they've just cancelled.
Yeah.
Wait,
because they just cancelled.
Wait, how many are left?
Well, the Horizon MMO has just 2 days ago. They're talking about the Horizon MMO.
Yeah, and the God, actually, so.
But no, keep it, Pete. I'm happy with that.
I think it's true. I still think it's true, but I think I'm actually worried.
But there was something we didn't even know existed. Right. We didn't know about Ben's Studio or Bluepoints until it just got cancelled.
Yeah, but they're all canceled now. We knew there were 12, and there's like 2 left.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, when I wrote this, I was like, oh yeah, there's like 4 left. It's like, oh, I think there's like 2 now.
Poor
You're right.
Bend, man. Poor Bend.
They've had such a rough go of it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I'm jumping around here. Okay, fine. This is in a similar vein, but I will throw this one in the. No, because you guys are going to be pedantic about this too. All right. Sorry. All right. Hold on. Okay. All right. I'll go with this one. An Xbox Studios game will be nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Okay, so it's like mine one from last year.
Yeah, just like slightly lower stakes because you said it would win.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's going to be nominated. They can't even achieve that much. So.
No, I said it was an exclusive. So you've just like
Oh.
bumped it down from
Right.
it's no longer exclusive to it's just,
Yeah.
their game, Xbox Game Studios game.
I don't. Yeah, because it depends if Indiana Jones gets sort of like,
Indiana Jones can be forgotten about. However,
That would still count. It's still an Xbox game.
Yeah.
Nominated.
Avowed, Outer Worlds. That's coming out this year. So
yeah, my
it's
thought
like-
is you have Indiana Jones could get. It probably won't, but it could. You also have Avowed. You have Doom, Dark Ages. There is possibly Outer Worlds 2, possibly Fable 4, South of Midnight. Like you got a
Yeah. All right. Fine. Put it on. I'm
good
okay
number
with
of
it.
games that could be in contention. We'll see if any of them are able to live up, but I think this is probably the year.
I'm okay with that. It's not as high stakes as Steve's, but Steve maybe didn't have to go that high stakes anyway. So
No, I shouldn't have. I'm going to say Bungie will start publishing third-party games. They've not done it yet. It was part of their plan when they became part of Sony. And I kind of feel like they're not really doing much else. Marathon's miles are out. And I also think that Destiny's kind of just dying on the vine. So they've got to have something to do.
Giving up your dream of them not existing or not being owned by Sony now then?
I think Sony want to keep the name and they want to keep Destiny and they want to keep the IP. I wouldn't be surprised if they binned off the whole studio though.
Okay. We'll see. I don't know. They spent so much money on them, but it's like you spend so much money to keep them going too, and it's like
Jim Ryan spent so much money on them. But
I don't know. I guess it becomes a sunk cost fallacy thing, right? Like, is this something that you're like, we're not in this business anymore. Let's sell them off. Let's try to recoup what we can recoup and move on. Or is it like maybe we stall on publishing other stuff and some of those other initiatives, and we just let them put out Marathon and hope that game is able to replicate the success of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Destiny is like seeming like it's kind of ending.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know what they're going to do, but I hope they're going to start publishing third-party games.
I mean, I think it's not a bad prediction, because like if they are gonna do any more of these titles, I think they have to be multi-platform. So like maybe.
I'm gonna say my next one. I already feel like I've got loads here, but I'm sort of like, I'm going to say we will see no more AAA games released on iOS like Resident Evil and Assassin's Creed Mirage were last year.
Okay.
I think those came and went. I think they don't run as well as they're supposed to run. They were full price. I don't think Capcom or Ubisoft saw their return on investment on that. So. And I'm talking like full fat console PC releases, not like mobile versions of.
So AAA ports?
Yes, let's say. But if it releases. Yeah, sorry, because I don't want. I think, yeah, sorry. Ports and day one releases. Just FYI, just to clarify.
All right, so real quick, while you're typing that up. So I found an article from Newsweek that says that Black Ops 6, Microsoft claims that Black Ops 6, quote, set a record for day one players as well as Game Pass subscriber ads on launch day and set a new Q1 record for total revenue and average revenue per subscriber. That was during a Microsoft Q1 financial year 25 earnings call. So they
They did
claimed
also. I think they did also say last year when I did a quick look, it was like Game Pass subscribers did grow to 34 million last year, which was up from 25 million 2 years prior. So it's still growing. It's not plateaued yet, according to their figures last year, but it might this year. Like we might see a
All right.
decline.
Do you want to say they were like, no, they won't announce any growth for the entire year? They're not going to announce any growth. Is that what you're saying, or are you saying that by the end of the year? Like, how do you want to clarify this? Because if that's the case, I'm happy to have it. But
I guess like the prediction is that growth is going to stall, right? Like this will be a year where growth is not something that's being reported, and I don't think that they're going to come out and tell you. Game Pass is in decline, but I think it's going to be one of those things where there isn't a moment where they're like, oh well, we hit this new record for revenue or number of concurrent players or this or that.
So anything they say where it's like, oh yeah, this game we saw a huge uptake in growth, blah 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 blah. Anything like that, we're
I think
if that happened this month, we're still going to say that.
Yeah, I guess what to answer the question of what would be the thing that would make this prediction not true would be if they are able to come out by next January and point to, we grew, we hit a new max number of subscribers, a new peak revenue, like something like that, right? Like I'm not going to say that there's not going to be any metric that they can point to as an example of, no, see, Game Pass is really healthy actually. But my point is that like I think we have potentially seen a peak for multi-game subscriptions, and that this is going to be the year where you start seeing, I think like that deal is not as good as it used to be, right? And the idea
it's the same with Netflix, right? It's like we're all sick of them increasing the prices, and the TV shows are getting worse.
See more people do the like 1 month on, 1 month off, that kind of thing, like rather than like, oh, I'm just a Game Pass subscriber, which used to be, I think, what they hung their hat on.
Okay. What wording have you got for the prediction? Let's figure out.
The way I put it was multi-game subscriptions growth will stall. And then the example I give is services like Xbox Game Pass won't achieve new records as growth plateaus.
Maybe specify one.
And we could just say Game Pass. That's fine.
Yeah, I think just say Game Pass because otherwise I could go, oh, well, look,
this other one did better. Sure.
Yeah.
I do think
Boosteroid's doing great.
I do think it's like a market-wide thing, but I'm fine making it more specific because Game Pass is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I can't believe no one said this yet, but I'm going to say Valve will announce new hardware.
It's on my list.
Thought one of you would have got it by now.
I didn't want to bring it up again.
Just going to suck it up because I do think there's the leaked controllers. There was the leaked headset. I could see them doing a revision to the Steam Deck. I could see all sorts of stuff that they could get their teeth into this year.
Yep, I didn't want to do it again, but yeah, I think that's a good one. Okay, I'm going to say we will not. We will see a new trailer for only one unreleased Insomniac game this year. So I think we're going to see a new
unreleased Insomniac game.
Yeah. So I think we're either going to see a Wolverine or a Spider-Man Venom or Ratchet and Clank something else, or we're not going to see more than one new Insomniac game, like a trailer for a new Insomniac game. Wolverine still counts because it's not been released yet. Be like,
Yeah. So they're not going to show off multiple games, so what you're saying. So we're not going to see Ratchet and Clank and Wolverine in the same year. If we do, then you lose the point.
Yeah. And if we see nothing,
you also don't get a point.
I also don't get a point.
Okay.
Can I say one or none?
No.
Okay, fine.
We won't see a trailer for a new Insomniac game. It's such a weak prediction. They won't talk about a game. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
What, Insomniac? They didn't do it this year, to be fair. So
right.
That's fair.
That's true basically every year. Almost every year they don't reveal a game, Like, when you think about it.
No, but like we know they're working on like 2 or 3 games. They've got multiple
Yeah.
teams there. So like it wouldn't be surprising to see trailers for them, not announcing a new game, but like to see more of
No, that's
Wolverine.
my point. Is like I think a prediction about the number of trailers you could see is good, but being like they won't have one, it's like not a great prediction. It's, you know what I mean? It's like almost every year studios don't announce new games.
Yeah, but this studio has a game in the works. Do you know what? I'm not going to let myself get kicked down anymore. Let's move on.
Fair
It's
enough.
all right, Max. You're the reigning champion. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. What do you can't take that away from you. You really can't. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go for this next one. A new Batman Arkham game is announced.
Interesting.
Doesn't
I'd love
necessarily
to.
mean
Is that-
doesn't necessarily mean we'll get a trailer. I'm saying that it's going to be announced because my thought is that, you know, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League was like a huge flop. I'm sure that Warner Brothers is very much looking at like how successful the Turf Wizard game was, and being like single player stuff based on our IP is like, this is the way forward. It's not games as a service. We need to kind of get Rocksteady back to their former glory.
Mm-hmm.
You got to imagine that they're going to want to hire a bunch of new people and, you know, probably lay off a bunch of the people that were like folks that had games as a service experience, bring on more people that have experience doing single player stuff. So you're going to want to announce that this game exists, to, you know, kind of assuage people's concerns and, you know, show that you have exciting stuff coming up, and probably also to get people hired at Rocksteady.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to happen. There was that Arkham game that came out that came out on VR last year, and I just don't think there'll be another one announced this year. But
I wasn't going to mention that till it was locked in, but
okay, well, it's locked in.
They're different teams. I don't think that. Fair enough.
I agree
but
with you.
I think it makes sense to announce this and try to get people thinking about the next Batman game and not remembering how the last 2 games were not what you wanted.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to go with Switch 2 will feature Nintendo DS emulation.
Yeah, cool.
Fair enough. I feel like I'm coming in with the first half point. Are we doing?
Yeah, you can do
Right,
that.
yeah. Here's my 2-part prediction. Neither Hades 2. Sorry, let me start that again. Hades 2 and No Rest for the Wicked. No, God. Hades 2 and No Rest for the Wicked won't launch 1.0 this year. So that's a two-pointer. The 1-pointer.
2 and No Rest for the Wicked won't.
So they're both early access. I don't think either of them launches this year.
Access.
But if one leaves early access with 1.0 this year, that's half a point. If both of them do, no points.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Oh man, last couple.
Yeah, I'm really gonna have to pick. So hang on. 1, 2, 3,
You
2
gotta dig
plus
deep. You gotta dig deep. What's that?
2, then risky.
2 then risky, right?
Yeah, fine. Okay. All right, here we go. Don't like that.
Okay, fine. Hollow Knight Silksong will finally release.
Oh,
Fair enough. I was going to specify a Q as a risky pick originally. Then I thought of a better one just now. So,
yeah, I thought about it for a risky pick as well, but I have one that I think is more fun.
mhm.
okay. I'm going to go with one that was similar to one of yours, Pete, but a bit more specific. So maybe I shouldn't then.
Well, go for it. Let's see.
No, because if this comes true for me, it's true for you, but yours is way more broad than mine.
Oh, okay.
So
what is it then?
the Saudi Arabian group that shafted Embracer Group, Savvy Games, will make a bid to purchase Ubisoft.
They're one of the people I think is a very likely.
So it's like
for
if
purchasing
I
them,
say that, yours is true, but yours can also be anyone else can buy them. So it's like there's no point me going.
Yeah,
with
you'll
that
just
one.
be a more specific version of Pete's, isn't it? Then.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Nintendo will announce a new IP exclusive to Switch 2.
I love that. I hope so.
Mhm. I like that.
Max.
Okay. Tell me if you think this is too. So I put The Last of Us Part 2 will be Steam Deck verified at launch, regardless of how it ends up actually running.
No, I think that's too easy.
Fine. The
The
I
first
did
one was
think so.
Steam Deck verified, and it was garbage.
Yeah, fine. Okay, there will be a new Horizon game revealed or announced.
Okay.
And I'm talking not
Mainline?
Forza. Not necessarily, just a new Horizon game, a new game in the Horizon franchise revealed or announced.
Okay. Reasonable.
That doesn't have to be a trailer. It has to be it can't be they're working on a Horizon game from like someone.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Might be too early, but that could be.
I don't think so, because we had the Lego one last year, so it's like,
Yeah,
maybe you queue people up for it. I don't know. You might do though, and if we do have the showcase and they kind of want to do that reset of, oh, we're sorry, we let you guys down last year. Here's what we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
and you do the like cast along of like, here's what's coming, you know?
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, Horizon Forbidden West was what?
2022.
Yeah, I'm still so surprised we haven't had a showcase, because they never gave anyone a reason to buy PS5 Pro. Like, that's when you do it. You release the PS5 Pro, give us a showcase of these games
What
are
do you
coming
mean?
and they're going to run best.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn remastered, mate.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nintendo will reveal a new Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. I can't decide what to go with.
This isn't part of my
I've got-
prediction, but I also think it'll use his new design.
I'd like that.
It definitely
I'd like
will
that
use his new design. Yeah. I don't like the new design. He's scary looking.
No, it's so cute. I love it.
He is more of a goofy guy. He looks like Dwayne the Rock Johnson right now, like with the
No,
that,
he looks like Ed
that
Helms
face.
with all the teeth.
Ed Helms. Incredible.
He looks too DreamWorks for my liking right now. And what I'd like is like Goofy.
So I can't decide which of these would be considered risky and
Okay.
which wouldn't.
Go ahead.
So I've got potentially two.
I will
Or
say,
three.
don't forget, is this 9 or 10?
This
This
is
is-
the last normal one and then one risky.
Okay. So you got one more.
So I'm going to tell you both of them and you can decide which slots they go into.
Okay.
Microsoft will announce a new Xbox console or handheld.
Okay.
That was initially my thought of the risky one. It seems very soon. I don't think it, potentially is going to happen. The other two I've got is one's releasing games day and date on Xbox and other consoles. It's basically your prediction, Pete. So I'm not going to go with that one. And China will become more of an issue for the gaming industry, with more publishers like ByteDance's Nuverse being banned from operating in the US.
So my only kind of like reservation, I guess, on the Xbox One is that like there was that rumor that they were going to have new hardware in 2026. So if that is true, then like, but it is a rumor. So I guess that's fine. You can say that rumor is true. I don't know. Is that risky enough? What do you think, Max?
I think the Xbox One is. Are you saying released or announced? Sorry.
Announced.
I think released is a riskier pick.
Yeah, I
I
think
prefer
announced
that.
is like maybe too safe.
They're not going to release it.
No, they won't.
If you don't think that's risky, is the China one risky? Like, that's what I'm saying. Which sort?
It's harder to quantify.
I think that's the problem with that, is it's harder to quantify. Because I also have
the
one
China
that's like
one? No, like I'm saying that there will be another publisher announced that's banned in the US.
a Chinese publisher
Okay.
will be
A
banned.
Chinese publisher.
I don't think that's risky. I think that's a normal pick. I think that's okay for a normal pick. I'm happy with that.
You don't think it's risky enough?
I don't think that's that risky enough. I think, although haven't they undone everything with?
No,
with...
ByteDance is still banned. Congress passed the
really?
law. You still can't download TikTok on the app stores.
No, that's not
right.
true. It came
No,
back.
it is
Trump
true.
undid
It
it.
came live
It's
again.
banned. You can have it and you can use it, but it's
Oh, you
not
can't
there if you
download
go
it,
search
though.
for it. You can't download it anymore. no.
Interesting. Okay. Trump
Yeah.
fixed it. I thought, but
I don't know. I feel like
why would he lie?
maybe I feel like maybe that's a little too. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's too nebulous. But I guess I don't know. I guess it is kind of. I don't know. What do you
I'm
think?
going to say, I think okay. I say put that as your risky, and then put announced as a normal prediction.
Okay.
That's my official ruling.
So you're gonna say released.
No, so
I'm going to say announced as a normal.
Ah, gotcha.
And they
And then
banned
by
another
the
publisher.
Chinese one publisher is risky.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think it's going to happen because the way the law's written is it explicitly says ByteDance. It doesn't say any other Chinese company, and the person that decides if it becomes a national security risk is the president. And I don't necessarily think he's going to find any of them as national security risks.
Well, unless it's convenient. All right, Max, what's your last regular one?
Okay, I'm going to say for my final non-risky prediction, I'm going to say there will be a Pokemon RPG announced this year that isn't Legends ZA.
Okay.
I think whether it's the next generation or it's a different style of Pokemon RPG game, I think there'll be a Pokemon RPG on the Switch too. I'm saying like a console Pokemon RPG.
So a new Pokemon RPG will be announced for Switch 2 that's not Z/A.
Legends ZA.
I mean, I don't even think you need to put that. It's new. That's already been revealed.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Are we saying remakes count?
No, you said a new Pokemon RPG.
I had hoped to include remakes, which is why I specified not. So I think there'll be some sort of Pokemon RPG.
So a Pokemon RPG. Will be announced for Switch 2.
That's fine.
Because I think the Legends ZA is also going to sort of be the Gen 5 remake as well. I think that's all going to sort of be encompassed into one. So I think whatever, we might see something brand new from Game Freak,
Okay.
Risky pick times, Pete.
Yeah. Okay. So I have like two, and I think they're both worded in a way that's a little like nebulous. So I am interested in you guys helping me narrow here.
Mm-hmm.
So the one is that there will be, it's kind of similar to Steve's, which is basically the idea that like AI will be the use of generative AI will be like a controversial talking point, and that there will be like one major release that gets it's like a point of conversation about the fact that they were using assets that were AI generated.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think that's better. That's more specific than AI will be a problem, because that's like we already knew that about the voice actors. That was a problem. If you're saying that there will be a game,
there's going to be a game that like publicly gets flack for the fact that it utilized assets.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Can we specify that it's not? Can you say AAA publisher?
Because the reason I say I don't know that it's that risky is because we had it with that one from the Rick and Morty dude. They used the generative AI
for backgrounds.
Yeah.
That was like pre it being as much of a talking point, though.
Yeah, everyone's
what High on Life?
Yeah.
They used
some of the backgrounds. Like the.
I think if you say AAA, because there are so many like Web3 dicto bros.
Yeah,
who
that's
are
why
like,
I was saying like it would be like a high profile release. So yeah, like if you want to say like it's like from a major publisher, AAA publisher, whatever, like that's fine. Yeah, like that's my point. It's like it would have to be a game. Like it wouldn't be like, oh, this shitty indie game, like that Santa Claus game that came out that everybody was talking about, right? Like nobody's talking about it because of the game. They're talking about it because it's a shitty AI game. My point is that it'll be a game like like it's a franchise, or like the next big game from this indie studio. Like it's a game that people were looking forward to that had momentum, and then it's like, fuck, it's using AI shit. Like that's going to be the kind of thing. So it's like, I'm comfortable saying AAA, but I think that there are
maybe say it's
kinds of games that are not AAA that like if Silksong came out and there was AI in it, that would be like, what the fuck, right? Like
if it's provably to train the model to build the game for them.
I think if it's provably AI and it's a shock, then yes, because they might. Yeah, if it's like.
So how do we word this so that we feel good? Because the way I worded it was one high-profile release that gets heat for using AI.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Maybe one major release this year will controversially feature generative AI.
So okay, we'll say one high-profile release will be
because get heat for using AI
publicly criticized for using AI?
Yes, it has to have released. I don't think you can say this trailer's used AI, therefore
No, like release. Yeah, game will come out.
Can you put at release then? You put release one release.
One high profile release.
Steve, you don't look happy with this.
I think it's guaranteed to happen. That's my concern.
Do you?
Because I could see, I see something like Power World comes out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we used a bit of AI to generate this," because they did that it was like the last year or the year before, right? Whenever that came out, and there was the dude who was posting about on his Tumblr about how he'd generated all these fucking monsters with AI and stuff, and everyone was like, "Oh look, they ripped it off," and blah blah blah. So like the high profile thing gives me pause because I can see a high profile indie game doing it because the games are expensive to make. And this is one way that we can make them cheaper.
So how do I have to limit that to make you comfortable? Because I don't like. For me, Power World is an interesting one because I think that doesn't necessarily like it does qualify because it ended up being a high profile release. But that's kind of,
it was in like Microsoft presentations.
Right.
It was everywhere. Like that was a huge thing.
Yeah. I feel like that does kind of satisfy what I'm saying, though, because it's like that game didn't really get heat for using AI. It got heat for ripping off Pokemon.
Heat for ripping off Pokemon.
Nobody was like,
Fair
oh,
enough.
it's generative, right? It was like, oh, they copied stuff. I don't know. Again, if you guys are not comfortable with it, we have to agree on the risky picks. So I can suggest something else, but.
What other ones have you got that would be considered a risky?
So the other one I have, I feel like is maybe too nebulous, which is like, this is the year that people agree that Xbox, like, got back on track because there's like they have all these big releases, and the last several years it's always been like they got 2 big games coming out and one of them doesn't come out, or it gets delayed, or it comes out and fails, or it underperforms. It's like I think between like Avowed and Outer Worlds and some of these other games that we talked about earlier, right? Like I think this is the year where you're like, okay, yeah,
that one's trickier. Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
trickier.
I think the AI one you could use more
you could use a more objective. So you could say, of Xbox's 2025 releases, at least 60% of them will have over an 80% on Metacritic, something like that, where you can say that provably most of their releases.
I don't think that even matters though, because like people, they could release one game and it could be an 80% on Metacritic, but they only released one game, and it's like, oh really? That's all they had for us, Like
Yeah,
I feel like
true.
the AI one probably is easier to track, and you're right. It's like I think we just have to say we just have to judge it. If you come to us and it's like a game where one person was arguing about it on Twitter,
right? That's my point. Is like it has to be a news story in the way that like Power World ripped off Pokemon ? Like it needs to be a thing that we're all like, you remember earlier this year when Final Fantasy came out and it had all those AI characters? Like it's got to be a thing like that, like a thing that everybody was like, this was a story.
I mean, that game looks like it would be generated by AI anyway. Like who carries a sword that big? Like come on.
Oh my god. This fucking guy. All right, so we're good?
We're good.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Max, final pick.
I think that GTA 6 will win the Game of the Year award at the Game Awards. So it has to release, be nominated, and win. That's why it's a risky pick.
I feel like if it releases, it's guaranteed to win. And like they have said that it's 100% releasing, right? So that's like the difficulty there for me. I guess it could release in late November, early December, and it doesn't hit the
my thing is like I don't think it's gonna come out, so I do think that's a good, like, that makes sense. But also to Steve's point, like based on the publicly available information we have, that doesn't feel very risky.
Okay.
Like I would I don't know.
Do you have any others that could be considered a risky pick?
Yeah. No. Okay, I've got...
Not risky enough.
Yeah, also I deleted all of them, so I didn't get confused about which one I wanted, so now I can't remember what they are. I could
Undo.
Actually, there's a back button. There's a back button. Okay. Not risky. Not risky. A new Mega Man game will be announced because that's based on absolutely nothing. But as I was thinking about this list, I kept going Mega Man. No, why am I thinking Mega Man? That's the only reason I thought of it. So there's based on nothing. It's not a series that's been touched since like 2018.
I don't think it's. I think it's too. It's just predicting a game will come out. It doesn't feel risky.
Yeah.
It's not like oh my god, they revived Mega Man. Like, it's like if you were like there'll be a new Kid Icarus game, like I'd be like,
yeah,
sure.
if Marathon gets announced. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Like that's it needs to be like that outside, not like our former mascot, right?
All right, how about Masahiro Sakurai will be directing a new game that is announced this year? A new game directed by Masahiro Sakurai will be announced this year.
Yeah, I think that's
okay with
more
that?
like that's juicier. What's he up to these days?
He did just say he was working on a new game when he stopped doing his game.
Oh, he's still doing the YouTube things, didn't he?
Stopped doing it, and he was like, "I'm working on a new game."
It's Smash Brothers.
Let me see. What did he specifically say?
Time.
Like that? No, he can't do another Smash Brothers. You're gonna kill this man. Let me see. If we can find this real quick. Okay, he said he's been working on a new game that's been in the works for years, and it, quote, should be announced sooner or later, quote, if we're able to get it made. So I think that feels not risky enough.
Jesus. Okay.
If he's been working on it for years, right? It's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I had a thing on here that said in 2022 he also announced he's working on a new project that is not released to game related to game production, but that also then became Masahiro Sakurai creating games, didn't he? That's what that was. Oh God, I don't know then.
Okay, we could increase the number of awards it needs to win.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will win more Game of the Year awards than any other game released in 2025. I'm pretty sure there are still places that track that, but I also think that if it wins Game of the Year, it's going to win.
What if it wins Golden Joystick and Dice, and also wins Game Awards?
You're talking Golden Joystick, Dice, BAFTA.
No, we can't do BAFTA because that's in like April. So we won't be able to track that one.
What are we saying 3 Game of the Year awards? Golden Joystick, Dice,
and the FlipScreen Game of the Year.
Yeah, the 3 major categories.
Come on, guys! I already think we should be doing Grand Theft Auto 6 for Game of the Year. You guys just vote against me. How do we feel about that?
Okay, why don't we say Grand Theft Auto 6 will win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and then
what if it wins like in 2 and also in 2 other categories at the Game Awards? So it has to win.
I think that's like
Game of the Year
plus
like best soundtrack and then best art direction. So it has to win at least 3 awards at the Game of the Year,
including Game of the Year.
Yeah, so it
just
has
to make
win...
it extra risky.
I'm gonna say it has to win Game of the Year plus X additional awards.
Yeah,
we think 2.
2 is 2 okay with everyone?
Is that enough? Because 3 is like not that, like most games that win, like Astrobot won like 6 awards this year. Right, like.
All right, let's go with 4 then.
5, 4 or 5.
Why don't we go with 12? He's got to win in every category.
It's not getting ridiculous here. Grand Theft Auto 6 will win Game of the Year plus 4 other categories. So
how many categories? You say there are 12.
There's like 20, but if you take out all the bullshit ones, like
if we're talking about the game ones.
It's like 12 that it could potentially win.
It would need to win like best direction or action adventure or.
It will win 50% of the awards it's nominated for.
50% of the awards it's nominated.
50% of the awards. It has to win 50% of the game specific award. Okay, let's just say 6. Game of the Year plus 5. Let's leave it at that.
I
Game
think
of the Year plus
4,
5.
So it has to win 5 overall.
Game of the Year plus
to me
5.
Seems
Fine.
Fair.
Fine.
For additional categories. So, okay.
Which it could easily. Like, it could win, like, Best Actor.
Yeah.
It could win Best Direction. It could win Best
Soundtrack. Any of those things.
Like, sound design.
Best ongoing game. If GTA 6 online, it pops off. Like, yeah. Best multiplayer.
It could also be... It could also not release.
Exactly.
It could also not release, which would be great for Pete and not so great for me and you.
Makes it really nice and risky. I like that. All right. So that's our 2025 predictions, boys. How we feel about them?
I'm very optimistic that the trophies stay on this side of the pond and it's coming to my house.
I'm ready to take it back for the States, everybody. This is great. See, now that I lost, I can my character can go on a whole new arc. You know, I'm gonna start showing up in like an American flag cape with an eagle on my shoulder or something. You know,
I feel like that's fitting for your country's brand right now as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you pick now to be patriotic. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a bad look. I'll be like really patriotic for Canada.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, the 51st state. I remember.
Of course, yeah. Not long. Yeah,
You can love Philadelphia, and that's that.
Yeah. Okay, that works. I'll come in with a Liberty Bell.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're a bit of a bell, but I didn't want to bring it up. So.
All right, great. We'll end it there for the day. Thank you guys for joining us here on another episode of the FlipScreen Games podcast. If you want to write in and let us know who you think has the best predictions for 2025, guess what? You can do that in a bunch of ways. Head over to flipscreen.games. That's the website. You'll find links to all the places we are, all the places you can show your support, all of our sister shows, everything right there. Flipscreen.games. Head over there, click on some stuff. It helps us out a lot more than it costs you. Thank you all so much for joining us here in another episode of the show. We'll see you next week. For Game of the Year! Oh my God! Game of the Year! It's next week!
Yes, Game of the Year.